are again. A little bit earlier this time. I had to beat my own record, do you know what I mean? Firstly, I just want to say thank you to all of you that voted me. Like, I proper appreciate it, man. Like, real ones, for real, like, good luck on your journey, man.
I'm going to need someone to explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. If someone has won their season, they've come back on Love Island Games and they've won, why are we bringing them a third time? Is it because everybody else has said no? Make it make sense. And Justine, my love, why are you coming back a third time? You can't keep saying you're looking for love. Kudos to you for saying you are just here for the money. That makes sense. But still, you could have done better for yourself. You could have gone to a different show. You've already been on a Perfect Match. Why didn't you ask Netflix to put you on the next season of Love is Blind? That would have been better for you. Do I agree that Johnny should come back? Only if we bring Jess back. Only if we bring Jess back, because I know she'll make his time in the villa miserable, and it will be entertainment gold if you have Johnny and Jess on the side and you have Tyreek with his sidekick Toby that's coming in. Entertainment gold. Entertainment gold. I would have loved Charlie to stay in because Charlie was quite a big personality, so I would have loved him to stay. I know production, it seems they don't want Josh to go because maybe they're waiting for him to just go left and erupt and just cause mayhem and become very toxic. But still, we could have got rid of Chris. Chris is not providing anything. Meth is a good guy, but he's not providing anything. He is just there to walk around behind Lucinda like a little dog in heat. Otherwise, we really don't need him. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Games Season 2, Episode 3. So the game is finished, Rihanna Maddox has left, and then you have the islanders sort of separating and going into little groups. First off, you have Josh and Andrea going for a chat in Soul Ties, and he is excited that, he won. He said he chose Charlie because he knew you could beat him, and also he wanted his girl back. And it's like, that's not your girl. That's really not your girl. For her to reward him with a kiss, it's like you've got a dog and your dog has done something nice and you're giving it a treat. That's the impression that I get. I don't think romantically Andrea really likes this man. I think she likes the idea that he'll get her to the win and he'll keep her in the villa, but I don't think romantically she sees anything with him, but she knows what he wants and she's going to offer it to him in order to keep him sweet. That's the impression that I get about them. I don't like them as a couple. I think he needs to go. I've said this about Josh and Lucinda right from the start, so there's nothing new if you've watched my other couple of episodes. Ty and Lucinda sitting on the deck and having a chat. I have a feeling Ty and Lucinda know each other from the UK circles of Love Islanders, ex-Islanders, where they meet up and whatever events they go to. I don't think there's anything romantic there. Even the way they were sitting and the way they were talking, you could tell that these are two buddies that are just dissecting the game. Lucinda's saying winning the challenge has sort of given her the fight that she needed and has opened her eyes that she can actually do this. So she's in it for the long haul. You had Ty sort of express his concerns, and I get where he's coming from. Yes, he likes Andreina romantically, but he has to look at the long-term picture, which is to stay in the villa for as long as he can. And so because of that, I understand why he would want to pick a partner that is as competitive as him and still keep exploring his connection with Andreina. If it succeeds, amazing. If it doesn't, it's still, he still gets the win, because there's no point in him leaving the UK for 3 weeks and not coming back with the W. He's a former athlete anyway. Andreina is sitting in the villa with somebody else and she's sort of saying, oh, look at Ty, he's gone, he's having a chat with Lucinda. And it's like, that's his new partner. He has to check in with her. He has to. There's no two ways about it. He has to check in with her, make sure they are okay, and then see, where to go from there. You had Ty also talk about the fact that, he was asked by Lucinda that if you're saying that you're thinking of parking, Andreina, who else do you have a connection with? And he said KK. And so Lucinda was sort of saying, KK would make a good move for him because she's just as competitive. So his chances of winning and staying in the villa are highly likely, which I totally agree with. I want Chris humbled. I want Chris humbled and I want Chris ejected from the villa. For him to walk in on day one and say, you all know who I am, he needs to be humbled. He needs to go and play basketball. If he's a professional athlete, why is he in the villa? He doesn't need the 250K. He's already made more than that. Anyway, Charlie and Andreina going up to the terrace and having a conversation. Andreina was shooketh to the core. I think she thought she would play a damsel in distress. I think she thought Ty would carry her to the very end, not realizing that she would need to pull her own weight. Because even Charlie, everyone is questioning that with your size, how the hell did Lucinda drag you like a rag doll? How did that happen? And so for her to say, I'm even shocked and I'm embarrassed, yes, she should be. Yes, she should be. I'm not one to shame someone, but she should be. She didn't even put in any effort. At least with Charlie, Charlie had the buck in him and he tried his best. There was no way he was going to move that mountain, but at least he tried and he got a couple of balls in the thingy. So she has to feel ashamed and she really has to do better, because at the end of the day, if she really likes this man, then she has to do something to keep him. And Tyrick has been honest with her from day one that I want to win, so I'm going to do everything in my power to win. So hey, it's up to her to take that and run with it. You have, Gabby going for a chat with Kendall. I side-eye him. Kendall is very physical or physically intimate with his partners. We all know that Gabby said she's a virgin. So I hope this little man doesn't, take advantage of her and get her to lose the one precious thing that she's reserved for herself. And I hope she continues to open her eyes and doesn't allow the Gaga love eyes sort of guide her, because she needs to use her brain. She seems like a very smart, articulate, intelligent young lady. So I wouldn't want her to be played by someone like Kendall. He seems smitten. He really does. And I hope he means it, because all his partners in the previous season don't match up with the partner that he's with. So I hope he's serious about it and I hope he likes her. Otherwise, we're riding at dawn. Tyrick finally had a chat with, Andreina, and she is very tearful, because she's embarrassed by the fact that she lost. And Ty told her the truth on day one and told her that I'm always going to be honest with you. So he told her, I don't know whether to swap you and get someone who's more competitive and continue to explore my romantic connection with you while I'm in a couple with someone who's got the buck in them just like me. That way I can be safe. And so if she was someone who's understanding, she would understand that and say, okay, let's do that. You find someone who's competitive. When you win, you save me and my partner, and we keep it going and we keep exploring. You could see he really likes her, because he was touched when she started crying and he tried his best to console her. But I don't think she's going to continue in this couple if she continues to play the damsel in distress. Ty is a very competitive person. We've already seen it in his season. If she's not smart, she's going to lose him. The islanders all go get ready for bed. Obviously, you have Gabby. Gabby's on cloud 9. Kendall is on cloud 9, or appears to be on cloud 9, because he's excited that he's kissed Gabby. He's giddy. She is giddy herself. And hey, if it works for you, amazing. And then suddenly you have Ty in the bathroom with KK, and he's sort of tying his do-rag, and she's sitting there with googly eyes and watching him. KK, I feel, would be better off with Ty, because at least Ty is showing that romantically he's interested in her. Chris is using her. I'm going to say that. Chris is using this woman because he just wants to stay in the villa and he wants to pick a partner that he thinks the viewers will like. So they like black love, so they're going to cheer for him and her, and that's going to keep him in the villa. I don't think romantically he likes her because of the way Ty was indulging her. They were really flirty. You had Chris in the bedroom being asked by Meth that, are you already going to sleep? And he said, yeah. And he was told that, are you not going to cuddle with Kay? And he went, no, it's too early. And it's like, this man is not feeling her like that. He's saying it's too early, but he's not feeling her. He was physically intimate with Huda, with someone he really didn't like, but was his type. And yet he's telling this woman it's too early. He doesn't like her. So I'm happy for KK that at least she got someone to pay her attention. Tyrick, is he the right person? Maybe not, but at least he was physically intimate with her. He gave her the kiss and it really seemed passionate. So I love this for her. I really love this for her. I love this for Ty because Ty is living up to expectation. He's already given everybody his roadmap, so it is what it is. The islanders get ready for bed. You have Ty check in with Andreina whether she's okay. She says she's fine. So everybody goes to sleep. And in the morning, while everyone else in the villa is fast asleep, Charlie receives a text message. Charlie, today you and Andreina will be getting some well-earned R&R. Please get ready to leave the villa. He wakes up Andreina and the two of them leave the villa while everybody else is asleep. So by the time everybody else wakes up, they don't realize that they're gone until they sort of look where they're supposed to be sleeping and realize, oh, they're gone, but they have no idea where they've gone to. On his part, Ty is happy because he doesn't need to make breakfast. Ty is a menace. He really is. The rest of the guys make breakfast for the girls. And then you have KK having a chat with Andrea. I personally feel like KK would make better friends with Solène. I don't know why she's friends with Andrea. Andrea is just with KK because she wants to be with the only American girl. That's the impression that I get. So you have KK reveal that, she shared a kiss with Ty, but she hasn't shared a kiss with Chris. And to me, that should have been enough information to tell her that he's not that into her. He really is not that into her. He's just humoring her. Because you can't be in the same bed with someone and not even cuddle. She's not saying let's have sex. Just cuddle. Just to hug, and is refusing to do that. So make it make sense. She's not counting him down. Anyway, I digress. You then have Andreina and Charlie go on their date with Johnny and with Justine. This is my opinion. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again. I don't know why Justine is here. Justine has done Love Island. She's done Love Island Games. She's done the challenge. She's done Perfect Match. At some point, she needs to get something else to do. If I were her, I would stick to the challenge. Unless she was looking for a relationship, then go to Married at First Sight or go to Love is Blind. Apparently, she won season 2 of her season. And then she's also won season 1 of All Stars. Johnny on his part was runner-up season 2 and runner-up in All Stars. And it's like, I don't know. I really don't know why they're there. It doesn't make sense to me. They're too old. I think at some point, once you hit 30, people don't need to go on Love Island. They need to go to Love is Blind or they need to go to Married at First Sight. But Love Island is not it. Anyway, Charlie goes on his date with Justine. She tells him about her wins. He's excited about that. They seem to have a good chat. And Justine questions, are you here for love or are you here for the game? And he says, he would like to win, but you'd like to win with someone that he really likes. She says, she came in both times looking for love. This time she's after the money. And it's like she should have enough money to go and start a little business. She needs to go home. She doesn't need to be on Love Island. Personally, I don't understand the rationale behind bringing her. She's already won twice. What are we hoping for a third time? Do we think she's got a fan base that's going to revive the show? At the moment, the show as it is good enough. Because we're struggling, some people are struggling for airtime because you've got big personalities like Ty. She's going to fall into the back unless she settles herself with Ty because she doesn't have that likable, she's got a likable personality to have won twice, but I don't think she has that personality to stand out. That's just the opinion that I get. Johnny meets up with Andreina, revealed that apparently they know one another, they've shared a case. He was questioning, do you think we should tell the others? And she didn't want to tell the others. I think it's because of Tyreek. I think she doesn't want Tyreek to know that she's a, ex-islander bunny hopper, that she's bouncing from every islander. So for Tyreek to find out, I think she knows that he will dump her. So she was trying to pacify him. They shared a kiss. She rated it a 10 out of 10 and she's happy to be single because at least now she's with Johnny. Good for her. Good for her. Maybe she needs to stay with Johnny. KK needs to go with Ty, and then whatever happens at the very end happens, but they would be better off in those teams because they are more likely to win in those teams. Oh my God, Isaiah is still in the villa. I thought he had walked out of the back door because we really haven't seen him. I know Solène said he was on her list. So for him to walk across to her, I think production told him, go and speak to Solène. So Solène, they sat down and she was asking him, how's your connection with Nicola going? He said there's no romantic spark, but we're very good friends. He then tried to sort of suss out the waters with Solène. Solène is that girl. She's that girl. Clock it. Because she said, she was asked, who else do you like in the villa? And she said, well, I'll keep it to myself. In her confessional, she said, I really like him, but I'm not going to tell him I like him before he tells me. So he'd better get a move on. Tell me he likes me, and then I'll think about it and I'll tell him. And it's like, Isaiah will need to do work. I think Solène would be a better partner for Isaiah because she's not toxic. She's just very outspoken and very bubbly and seems very outgoing. So they could make a very good couple. I think they'd make a very cute couple if they decided to couple up. And then you have Chris having a chat with KK. I think he did that because he wanted the attention to be on them because of the way they were standing and the way he was flirting with her. He doesn't like that girl. Please. I am one who normally doesn't like to go down that route of saying somebody doesn't like somebody, but he doesn't like her. He hasn't done anything to show us that he likes her, unless the edit is not showing that, because he has flirted with her, but that's as far as he's gone. He has not done anything else. We haven't seen acts of service. We haven't seen anything that he did for her, or even Shelley. So make it make sense. I think he likes her because he knows she's loyal. She's always going to stick by him. She's never going to vote him out, and that's the reason why he's choosing her. But if he's not smart, Ty is going to come and swoop her. I hope he swoops her. I know. I hope he swoops her. I want for evil to happen, but hey, it is what it is. Back on their dates, you have Andreina and Charlie receive messages. Andreina's messages. Andreina and Johnny. Tonight is the first dumping of Love Island games, but the broken-hearted Islander will have one final chance to give away their necklace and avoid being dumped. Charlie's message rings. Charlie and Justine. Tonight is the first dumping of Love Island games, but the broken-hearted Islander will have one final chance to give away their necklace and avoid being dumped. And it's like, I hope Charlie wins, because Andreina, I think she's got the fight in her, but I'm not sure about Charlie. Sadly for Charlie, this is an uphill battle. I don't think this was the season for him to come back. I think he should have come for Love Island All Stars in the UK, because when it comes to body types and body sizes, he's the smallest of the guys, in my opinion. Matt, I really feel sorry for him. I don't know how he won his season, because he is smitten. He is smitten. He's like a little puppy dog behind Lucinda with his tongue out. Just because why does he have to be so over the top with it? Is he that smitten? Does he know who he's falling heads over heels with? Maybe he might change Lucinda because of his positivity and his sort of, I don't know, his ethic on life, but I don't get it. I really don't understand them as a couple. Lucinda was asking for princess treatment. If you've been here a while, you know how I feel about princess treatment. This man is already giving her princess treatment. He's giving her breakfast. He's doing everything. He's giving her words of affirmation. He's constantly showing her affection. So what else does she want by princess treatment? What does she mean? Does she even understand the meaning of princess treatment? She was complaining of her headache, and he gave her a kiss, and she said she felt better, and she felt that their connection was a lot better after the kiss. For her to say she wants him to show her that he really likes her, that way she can show she likes him, no, that's not it. Lucinda just wants him to look like an idiot, just showing how smitten he is by her. So you have Andreina with Charlie sit down with Johnny and Justine, and they are sort of making a choice of who they want to pick to go in a duel with. Andreina immediately lets it show that she says she doesn't want to make Ty vulnerable, because she was asked, do you want to go head to head with Lucinda again and give her back her chain? And she said, no, she's in a couple with someone I don't want to make vulnerable. And you could see Johnny was taken aback, because he didn't expect that. I think he thought as soon as he walked in, she would be smitten and should be all over him the way she's over Tyreek. And I have a feeling that Andreina loves Tyreek, or likes Tyreek more than she likes Johnny. And so it's going to be sort of who does it better in that situation. You have them sort of question who is best for them and who they think they might be able to sort of go head to head with. You have the Islanders back at the villa, then receive a text message. The first message comes in. Islanders, Charlie and Andreina has spent the day with 2 new bombshells. Tonight is the first dumping of Love Island games, and the last opportunity for Charlie and Andreina to get rid of their broken heart necklaces, and everyone is nervous. They were asked to pick the couples they want to go head to head with in tonight's challenge. Whichever couple wins will be safe, and whoever is left with a heartbreak necklace at the end of the challenge will be single, vulnerable, and risk of being dumped, and everyone was nervous. So then the messages came in. Andreina and the bombshell want to face. Andreina and Johnny decided to go after Gabby and Kendall. That didn't make sense to me. Charlie and Justine decided to go head to head with Isaiah and Nicola. And personally, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense either way, because both girls were the highest ranked in the initial challenge. So for them to be picked, I do not understand it. Both guys were US guys, and it's like, I get Charlie's choosing someone from the US and not wanting to make, Tyreek vulnerable, or not wanting to make Meth vulnerable because he thinks it's numbers. But I don't get the other two. Anyway, I love Nicola because Nicola then went aside with Isaiah to the fire pit, and she was trying to hype him up because he seemed like he was defeated, and she was hyping him up that we need to get ready to go. I have a feeling, I think if Nicola and Isaiah want to stay in the villa, yes, they can look for romance in other people, but they should stay in a couple because they're able to sort of work together very well. The way she was hyping him up and she's giving him confidence. In the end, you could see he was actually confident about her sort of words to him. On her part, Gabby was nervous. She was nervous because she couldn't understand why she had been put in the bottom. She couldn't understand why Andreina had picked her. And it's like, well, Andreina has looked for the smallest person in the villa. That's my thinking. She looked for the smallest person, and she knew that if she were to go head to head in a physical thing with Gabby, she would be able to wipe the floor with her. But she couldn't do that with any of the other girls, and didn't want to be embarrassed by Lucinda. She knew that if Johnny went head to head with Tyreek, there was a chance he could win. And so I get why she didn't want to pick him. The Islanders get ready for the night. Obviously, the people that are vulnerable are dressed in yellow. So Ariana Maddox arrives and she reveals that, there's going to be a duel in the sense that people are going to take this metal electrode and they're going to move it around these shapes. Charlie is going to come in with a bombshell and Andreina is going to come up with another bombshell. They then come out. They looked amazing when they came out. They really looked like cute couples. I think Charlie would have made a better partner for Justine than anybody else. I think there was a camaraderie that had already built between the two of them. So first to go head to head, we had Charlie go head to head with Isaiah and Nicola. Isaiah and Nicola were pumping each other up, but then once they started the challenge, they were very quiet, and Ty at one point had to say to them, you need to talk, you need to talk, you need to talk. And eventually they got into the groove and they won that. And I was so happy for them because I think Nicola is actually coming out of her shell and she's quite a funny personality. I hope she stays in the villa. If I were Nicola and Isaiah, I would stay in a couple and then I would look for a romantic connection on the outside, but I would stay in a couple because it seems they complement each other very well. Sadly, Charlie could not get rid of his necklace, which meant that he was still vulnerable. Next up was Johnny and Andreina. They went head to head with Kendall and Gabby. Gabby, sadly for her, I think being picked threw her off, and then seeing the challenge that they were having to go through, something about her wasn't set. She hadn't managed to be pacified or sort of reassured the way Isaiah was reassured by Nicola. I think had Kendall done a better job, they might have performed way better than they actually did. Anyway, they tried their best, they didn't succeed. And for the first time since she walked into the villa, Andreina was able to win. And once she won, you had Ariana ask Ty, so Ty, how do you feel about Andreina winning with Johnny? And he said, well, maybe she needs to stay with him because at the end of the day, if he can help her win, the better. Johnny then said to Andreina, you need to listen to that. You need to remember that. And it's like, he's not saying romantically he doesn't like her, but he's trying to look out for her best interest. Because if they're constantly in the bottom, they don't have the numbers. That's what I think Ty was trying to say. And it's like, Ty is always going to be honest. He really is going to be honest and take it or leave it. You either like it or you don't. It is what it is. Once you had Andreina win, she was told you can give your necklace to either Kendall or Gabby. She gave it to Kendall, which meant Gabby was safe. But then, they're in a romantic couple. So Gabby was very upset because her partner was going. So Ariana then revealed that because the two guys are vulnerable, what's going to happen is the Islanders are going to vote for who they want to save. And so they need to stand behind the person they want to save. I think this is the best. I think this is the best because it shows everybody's strategy and where people stand. So you then had Andrea be the first one to be called up. I thought the US people were going to stand up behind their person, so I was pleasantly surprised. Isaiah was able to get Andrea, Gabby, his partner, Josh, Johnny, Isaiah, Lucinda. He also had Nicola, Meth, and KK. Some of them, I think they just went because it's their countrymen, and some, I think, went because they really like Gabby. Not because of Kendall, but because of Gabby. Charlie, sadly, he got Ty. There's no way Ty was going to stand for Kendall because at the end of the day, they are from the same countrymen. I'm surprised Lucinda didn't stand behind Charlie, but that's just me. Chris, they were in the same season, it makes sense. Solen, it makes sense because she has to look for numbers elsewhere because the Americans are not going to protect her. Justine stood behind Charlie, it makes sense because he was her partner in the duel. And Andreina stood behind Charlie because they were in the same season. So it doesn't make sense for her to run and sort of stand behind somebody else. So Charlie on his part ended up with only 4 people behind him, which meant that he was dumped. And he said, it's this time he's actually his goal was to beat his personal best. He was just very jokey about it, but I think at some point he's going to feel some type of way. He's going to feel some type of way because he's never really got a fair shot. I don't know whether it's worth bringing him to Love Island All Stars in the UK, because it seems the Americans are not quite understanding him, or something about him is not clicking with the other cast members, because I feel like Charlie should have stayed a lot longer. I felt he had more to bring to the show than people like Chris or Josh, but that's just my opinion. He then took some pictures in the photo booth with Ty and with Chris, and a lot of guys were saying he's such a genuine person. And I think with Charlie, what you see is what you get, and it's really sad that he hasn't been given an opportunity to sort of show who he fully is, and yet people that are in the background, like Isaiah, are still there on the show, but I like Isaiah, so here we are. Anyway, we have Toby coming in, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I really am giddy about it, because I know Toby is going to be messy. So if you mix Toby with Ty, oh my God, it's just a train wreck. They are about to see a different side of the UK they haven't seen. And hopefully they get a shot to stay in the villa. I think Toby deserves to stay in the villa. I know in All Stars 1, he didn't, in Love Island Games 1, he didn't get to stay long. So hopefully this is opportunity. Anyway, thanks guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 2. Bye, guys.